Packing for a regular trip is one thing. I used to overthink. I used to procrastinate. I was wondering if I packed too much or if I didn't pack enough. Did I forget something? But packing for standby travel, completely different. You may not make the first flight. Your gate can change. You can spend multiple hours, even the night at the airport. Today, I'm going to be talking about how to pack actually everything you're going to need using only one carry-on item and one personal item that you slide under the seat in front of you without overpacking. I'm Nichelle, and I'm documenting my journey of building a life of more travel, creativity, and adventure. And as I plan and prepare for more standby trips, I'm learning that the key to packing is not to pack for every possible situation. It's packing strategically so that you can be flexible when plans change. So by the end of this video, you will know exactly what you need to pack in your carry-on suitcase, as well as personal items that you need to keep close to you underneath the seat. And if you stay to the end, I will give you a couple of options as to what you need to do if or when the flight is delayed or canceled that will make your standby experience a little bit more pleasant. So if you're up for the journey, let's get started. Okay, so why is standby packing so different? The things that we need to consider are flight times, the gates, and arrival plans could change. You want to pack for flexibility, delays, and possible overnight stay. So the first thing we need to ask ourselves is, do we need this? Can this item or this outfit serve more than one purpose? Am I willing to carry it for hours? So you're preparing for likely problems. So let's start off with choosing the right bag. So I have this one that, what you call a Travel Pro, and it has 4 wheels, which is easy to glide next to you. It actually works better on smooth surfaces when you're going through the airport because it has the 4 wheels, and it's easy to put over in the overhead compartment. Then we have this other piece of luggage, which has 2 wheels. 2 wheels are primarily for more durability. It glides well, but you pull it behind you so that when you're going through the airport, it's primarily for airports that have a lot of carpet, more rugged cobblestone surfaces. And it is a little bit more heavier, but it is approved for being able to to carry on the plane. So those are 2 options. I'm sure they have tons more options. I've seen in stores where they have backpacks that roll, duffel bags that roll. So, just pick an item that you don't mind having to lug around in the event that you have to, change plans suddenly. So we're going to start with this suitcase. This is my favorite one. It's like a deep pocket. It has some layering up here. It has an outside pocket, so if you need to put something that you need to reach more easily, then you would use that pocket. So here I'm going to be gone for at least 3 nights and 4 days. And I say that because when you're traveling from one destination to the other, there's a possibility that you might have to shift plans. So I pack for 3 nights and 4 days when I may only be gone for, let's say, 2 nights or less. So this is me overpacking, but cautiously. So I always pack like, like sportswear, because they're lightweight. If you need to wash it, it dries well. I always put in like some leggings. That's part of my regiment. I have some loungewear. It's actually pajamas, but it looks like just a regular workout outfit. I have to put a pair of shorts in my packing list. At least 2 pair of shoes. So you want to layer. Your first layer would be everything that you're going to wear, which is primarily more of your heavier stuff. A pair of gym shoes, and then you want to pack a pair of gym shoes. Always bring a pair of flip-flops, a pair of shorts. So here I have my shorts, and a pair of short leggings. Now, in the event that I decide I want to go out that evening, then I have a nice dress I can put on that also looks good with gym shoes. But in the event the place that you're going to is hot, I have a pair of cute flip-flops that will go with the dress. So, and then you have your undergarments, obviously. So the first thing I'm gonna pack is primarily with these packing cubes would be my loungewear stuff. Because that seems to be the most thickest and the most bulkiest type item. So I'm gonna put that in here. And actually there's still a little bit more room. I think I'm gonna go ahead on and put a little bit more, a few more items in here. I still have room. So I'm gonna go ahead on and put a pair of shorts in here. And that works out just fine. Let's zip this up. Now, I'm very OCD, so a lot of times I will iron my things that I'm going to be traveling with, because that's just me. If you can avoid that in terms of packing things that can be wrinkle-free, and that way you can pack it in these little cubes. So I'm gonna start off by putting that in there, and then I'm gonna start with my next cube, putting my other outfit in here. Now, I will say too, another tip that I have, if you don't have a lot of packing cubes, you don't want to use a packing cube, that's okay. I've traveled before where I've just kind of rolled things tightly or compressed it really tightly, but I'm gonna go on ahead. I used to have like Walmart bags or any Target bag and just put your shoes in there. And I'm just gonna place that in the bottom for now. Place all my shoes in the bottom. And I'm gonna use another packing cube just for undergarments. Those are the things I'm like so lazy about. I try to fold them all nice and neat, and it doesn't work out right. They tend still to look a little bundled up. So I put everything in here. I'm gonna show you what everything looks like. And I'm gonna give you another view of what I'm looking at here. And I'm just gonna pack everything in here, all nice and neat. And there we go. You're all set. You still have more room in the event that you need to maybe buy something while you're in the airport or once you get to your destination. So here's another view of what you're gonna be looking at. So I'm gonna place my main items primarily towards the bottom because that's the most bulkiest part of the suitcase. I'm gonna put, let's just say I'm gonna put my shoes in first. Let's do that. Then you wanna place your flip-flops in there. We still have our bag where we have toiletries. Not toiletries, but, and there we go. We're all set. Okay, so I have for my personal carry-on item 2 types of luggage. This is a backpack, very durable. It has tons of pockets, a place for my laptop here. I mean, the sky's the limit when it comes to organization with this particular backpack. It does weigh a little bit more, but you know, pick your preference, whichever one you want. So both of these can easily fit underneath the seat. This was more of a soft leather, kind of like your hobo kind of feel. So you can just grab and go with this one. This one is my favorite. So I have a place back here to put my laptop, and I only put items in here that I feel like I need to get my hands on at any given moment. Obviously, your government ID or your passport, depending on where you're traveling. So for your toiletries, what you want to do is obviously have a toiletry bag that can hold like no more than 3.4 ounces or 100 milliliters or less to go through TSA pre-check. And I do put this in my carry-on, my backpack, because both items, even the suitcase, is going to be considered a carry-on. And you just want to bring enough product for the trip. Consider solid alternatives to save liquid space. Like, for instance, I love liquid body wash. However, you can use a bar of soap. You don't have to put that in this particular bag. You don't have to put deodorant in this particular bag. So, and also just consider, that it's going to take up more space. Like for women, we need a toiletry bag just for our makeup. So keep medication in another separate bag. Obviously, you don't have to pull that out unless it's liquid, but definitely you want to keep that in your backpack that you're going to be putting underneath your seat if you're in need of medication. And you want to pack enough medication in case the return flight is delayed. You just never know, right? So here we go. So what I do essentially, obviously, is that I have a body wash. Look, I have a spray wash. I have a lotion. I have a mouthwash that's also liquid. I tend to, because most of the time I'm washing my hair every day, I use a liquid leave-in conditioner. And just so that I don't trust that the top will come off, I will wrap these little containers like this in saran wrap and then put that in here. Sometimes I like to use like a body oil, if you will, and for some reason those tend to leak out. I guess it's like compression or whatever the case may be. However, that's what I'll do for that. So if you feel like you have a container that seems like the top can easily flip off, make sure you wrap it in saran wrap. Or sometimes if I can't get a hold of that, I'll put it in a plastic bag, tie it really tight, and then put it in here. So again, I'm gonna put my deodorant in here. See, it's just everything that we have here is basically travel size. So I'm gonna put all these items in here, and I always travel with sunscreen for some reason. And the place that I'm going obviously has, the weather is gonna be really hot. Now, I have gone to hotels expecting them to have body wash, shampoo, and conditioners, and I'm saying like really nice hotels. And I just don't trust that, because so sometimes that is the alternative. You don't necessarily have to pack a lot of toiletries because you're anticipating that where you're staying is going to have enough toiletries. But again, we're always preparing for the what if the flight doesn't come through, is delayed, or is canceled. So I'm going to put this in here. I tend to carry sometimes a blanket or a shawl to take on the plane with me, just in case it's a little cool, a pair of socks if it's cool on the plane. And those are really small items that you can fit in here as well. Again, my Bose speakers, my Bose headset. And so I also take vitamins. So these are like solids. They don't necessarily have to go into that little TSA pre-check small toiletry bag. But again, so that's that. I always tend to pack, what do you call these, a wall charger, where it'll have like for international, that you can use this for international. You can use this for in the event that, the hotel, this has happened to me before, where the hotel don't have, let me move this out of the way. They don't have the wall plug. What they have is the USB port. So I bring both items just in case, and I put everything in this little cute compartment so it's easy for me to grab. I have this little, what do you call it? I call it a little Velcro pack, where sometimes I can stick my phone on there to keep it still on top of the counter. I also bring these little plugs because when you're in the plane, sometimes the Bluetooth from my Bose headset do not connect with the movie. So I have already these type of, I guess you want to call them jacks. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. And so here we go. I use this because one side charges the phone and the other side charges my watch. So But in the event that they only have that USB port, which is on the nightstand in the hotel room, this is what this is for. And if it don't, then I can plug it into this and then plug this into the wall. So I place all these items in this compartment here, which is my little old Bose thing that I put it in there. And then I pack this inside of a backpack. Now, one other item that I tend to bring is possibly, I like jewelry, particularly when I'm trying to go out that evening. I may wear it, I may not, but it doesn't hold that much space. But what I do bring is like a small purse. And this is what you would call like your little fanny pack, obviously, because you can put your phone in here and you're hands-free. I'm all about being hands-free. So I also bring something like this. I could have packed it in the suitcase, but however, I'm just gonna put it in here for now, but you can always switch that up later, because the less that you have to carry in this particular bag, the better. And I say that because you want to do, you might decide to pick up some chips or a sandwich, something while you're in the airport, and you want to just have a little bit more wiggle room in here to be able to place that. So there's just a couple more things that I want to go over in terms of your airport survival kit. Obviously, you want to, if you like, have an empty reusable water bottle. Some people just prefer to just pick up a bottle of water or wait till you get on the plane to get a bottle of water. However, I mentioned before, like snacks, your headphones, a light sweater or scarf, eye mask, neck pillow for longer trips. You want tissue wipes, which I keep here, wet tissue wipes. I have hand sanitizer here that I hang on there, lip balm, gum, mints, and sometimes I have carried what do you call a very miniature size of what do you call it, a deodorizer for spraying the bathroom or the area that I'm in, because it, who knows what happens, it doesn't smell very good. So again, if you bring in your laptop or your iPad, you can download some entertainment. Make sure you have your travel information, maps before leaving home, and prepare for several hours of waiting. Okay, so for documentation and money, obviously your identification, depending on which airport you're going to, particularly if it's international, they don't do global entry or TSA pre-check. You just get in line with everybody else. But the process has been smoother. Recently, when I went to Germany, they had a glitch in their system, so the line was backed up for a bit. So pack some patience there. But however, in any domestic destination, if you have global entry, you can already pre-scan and just kind of walk through. It's such an easy process. So if you don't have that and you travel a lot, or if you're doing standby, I would recommend to do that, because you just never know when you're trying to connect to another flight how long the lines will be. In your wallet, you want to have 2 payment methods when possible. I tend to use my Apple Pay a lot, and particularly in other countries, because the security for Apple Pay is just, you can't beat that. Definitely emergency contacts, a destination address. I would probably do that if obviously if it was my teenage daughter. But if you're an adult, you obviously want to make sure that you have some number that you've memorized, because I am guilty for having not memorized the people that I call every day. I'm so used to pressing their number and it just pops up. So if you ask me what the number was out loud, I might have to say, I don't remember. Okay, so check your passport expiration, because the entry requirements are different depending on where you're going. Some countries feel like when you're 6 months to your passport being expired, then they won't let you in their country. So double check that, what the requirements are. Keep a secure digital copy of your important information. This has happened to me before, where one of the gate agents accidentally handed my passport to the girl next to me who happened to look very similar to me. However, I had an electronic copy of my passport, and they would be able to track her down to get my passport back. It was a total nightmare. However, we got that back, but it helped the fact that I had a picture of my driver's license, had a picture of my passport, just so that you can prove, okay, this is my passport. If you have made it this far within the video, you're doing great. I promised you that I would give you a couple of options towards the end that would make your standby experience a little bit more comfortable, primarily because preparation does not guarantee a standby seat. Packing light gives you more options, you move faster, you change gates, you respond to delays, controlling your preparation, not your outcome. So what I'm suggesting, that if you have, let's say, a venture capital credit card or a Marriott credit card, check your credit cards to make sure that you have the option to be able to go to one of these lounges where you can go and eat and relax, and particularly if it's a longer stay, and have more than one type of lounge that you can participate in. And this is primarily for people that plan on doing a lot of standby traveling or just traveling in general. You want to anticipate that everything may not go smoothly. But if you have access to 2 lounges, that would be great, because there are a lot of times that you can go to one lounge and they're completely full. So you have the option to go to another lounge. Also check with the airline based on whether or not you have a first class ticket. You have access to these, lounges. So those are my 2 tips in terms of being ready when you're doing standby travel to make your experience so much more enjoyable. I want you to comment below if you are a serial standby traveler or you just travel in general. What do you tend to overpack? Like this video, share it with someone preparing for their next trip, and subscribe for more travel tips, creativity, and adventure. So until next time, happy travels!